I think we are starting now. You're welcome. Uh, Welcome to the WONCA Europe We Talk, where a person of interest is interviewed. We know that it would be nice to give a floor to with those candidates for executive board of WONCA World. Of course, only those willing to meet you. In the second WONCA Europe Talk, we are very happy to host our very well-known colleague, Associate Professor Dr. Viviana Martinez-Bianchi. She is one of the member at large in the current WONCA Executive Board and the liaison to the World Health Organization since November 2016 and linking WHO and UN with WONCA, with her own words. At all of these high-level settings, she has carried our potent voice in the world. Now, Vivian, we call her Vivi, and I apologize, Vivi, because I'm very much used to in that. If it's okay for you, thank you. Vivi is one of the candidates of WONCA World presidency. At present, she is an associate professor and program director of family medicine education in Duke's University in the United States, and also a practicing family physician. She has an immigrant background, giving her another flavor. Throughout her career, she says that she has been a leader using her voice to advocate for colleagues, learners, patients, and community members, a teacher, a mentor, and fierce advocate for equity and community health. Vivi aims rising WONCA higher than ever as a recognized leader among world organizations with a strategic action and a budget plan that explores our development and makes it happen. Before starting, I want to say you're welcome, Vivi. If you want to say a few words, then I will inform the audience about the rules of this interview.
Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much for.
And
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Thank you very much, Mehmet, for
yes,
this
now we have.
for welcoming me and thank you, WONCA Europe, for hosting not only hosting me but other candidates. It is a difficult time in that we are not together. Normally we will be in Abu Dhabi, getting together, talking, being able to share our experiences and our reasons for wanting to go up on the board and represent you at WONCA. And so I really, really appreciate this opportunity to get a chance to talking with people. And also to the WONCA Europe region for all the contributions of your region to the advancement of family medicine around the world.
Really, it's our privilege that you wanted to talk with us and you came to our region and introducing yourself to us. This is really very kind behavior, and we appreciate for that. Before we start, I would like to announce to the audience that the duration of each answer is not more than 5 minutes. We would like to have more time for each question, but we don't. So that's the reason we have already agreed with Vivi to be very short. And if you have personal questions, I will collect them and then send her back just to be answered later. Our purpose is giving the opportunity to our members to ask as much as they can in a short period. And don't forget, you can use the question and answers section on your screens, on the right upper side in my screen and your screens. Just you can say Q&A, and you can just type your questions, and our honorary treasurer, Joseph, is following your questions also. Maybe just because this is very informal way of we talk, let's say, I will start to ask with a simple question. Would you please tell us very simply what are the most important first 3 goals for your term? We will ask you if you achieved those goals those three initial goals in your term or not at the end of your presidency? So those three are important for us.
Thank you for that important question. Number one, I want to see WONCA contributing to equity and justice in health. Number two, advocacy for the public, economic, private, and health system support of family doctors doing their work. And number three, a focus on organizational equity. And I'm going to talk a little bit about those three goals. When I think of the issue of equity and justice in health, I am running with the vision of WONCA becoming a major contributor to equity and justice in health. Within that health equity agenda, we must address disparities in health. We know currently that countries, member organizations of the World Health Organization, our own countries, have signed on to the Declaration of Astana. And that declaration calls for primary health care for all. Yet, how is that going to happen is what's in the question, right? To me, when we talk about primary health care for all, it means that there is equity and justice, that all people have the potential to achieve good health. We have allies supporting primary health care in the World Health Organization, in UNICEF. In fact, they were the ones that hosted, together with the government of Kazakhstan, the Global Conference of Primary Health Care. But at the same time, my question, and this is the question I think with WONCA we want to ask, is what is the true commitment of member organizations, members of the United Nations, the states, the countries, to primary health care? What do government representatives, what do medical associations, other medical associations, non-government agencies, non-for-profit and profit agencies, and community stakeholders know about primary health care to actually sign on to this? And also, what do they know about the work that we do? Are they aware of what family medicine does? And so we need to stand WONCA in a stronger position to be on pace to collaborate with countries, policymakers, public and private health sectors. We need to be the trusted organization that leaders from all over the world are going to come to when it comes to developing a primary healthcare agenda in each country. We need to bring together all those positive stakeholders who are interested in making a positive change to be able to, pursue what they signed on to the declaration. We have a role as a civil society, as a non-profit organization, as a global organization of family doctors, that to let them to learn to use our expertise on how we should be doing this process, making sure we leave aside all these vertical programs. The world is filled with funders of vertical programs. We're going to take care of TB here, and we're going to take care of HIV here, and we're going to do maternal health here. And with family medicine, we do it all, right? So we need to get our organization. So this is that health equity agenda of decreasing disparities by funding horizontal programs that really promote primary care, family medicine, the work of GPs to really be understood. We want to create the strategies to mitigate health inequities, and we as family doctors want to guide that development of strong primary health care that is comprehensive, person, family, and community centered. We know how to do that. A lot of people outside of family medicine think all we do is take care of runny noses. That is not correct, right? We know the comprehensiveness of it. The second one was advocacy for the public, economic, private, and health system support of family doctors doing their work so that we achieve fair pay, appropriate and safe working and living conditions in urban, in suburban, and in rural settings. We all know, we were talking right before we started this conversation about the many family doctors that were affected by coronavirus because they had to work in conditions that were unsafe, because there was no recognition of the real work that family doctors were doing on the ground. We need to make sure that our doctors, our family doctors, are supported with salary support, safe systems, in every region of the world. In, of course, during the pandemic, equitable access to vaccines and personal protective equipment. We cannot continue to do the inequitable distribution, especially of life-saving vaccines and personal protective equipment. And the other one is a focus on organizational equity. We need to look inwardly to how are we doing in our own organization in equity. And we want to develop strategies to address the different barriers that make us inequitable as an organization, addressing economic, gender, language, geographic, and broadened aspects, and also the pandemic inequities that have affected WONCA. Started with, well, one of the things I have proposed as a chair of the Organizational Equity Committee is to start with an organizational equity committee in each region that looks at how are we developing each area of our regions, each member organization, and how are we listening to each other's voices. I hope I didn't go past the 5 minutes.
No, that's perfect, Vivian. Just probably Shlomo has a question to you related with this item, one of those items actually. Shlomo, would you like to ask your question?
Hi, good evening. Hi, Vivi. So first of all, I see that there are many questions from the audience, so I will shorten my question. I had a very long one about equity, but I will focus only on one item about equity, and this is our own internal equity. I mean, the problem with affordable WONCA, where is Vivi? It's only me and you, Mehmet. So Vivi, the question is about affordable WONCA meetings. We know that there is many of our members that cannot attend WONCA conferences. So I would like your opinion, your plans about how to make WONCA meetings more affordable. As I can see, Mehmet, there are many questions from the audience.
Yes.
Okay, Vivi, did you hear my question?
Yeah. This is.
I'm sorry, Shlomo. I can no longer.
You couldn't hear, right?
I can no longer see you. There you are. I went to look at the chat and I kicked myself outside of the meeting. I really apologize.
Okay, so no problem. So I will repeat my question.
Joseph will collect those.
Joseph is collecting the questions and will.
Okay, sorry about that.
I'm happy to see that there are many questions. So I will shorten my question to one point about affordability of our members to come and to join us in WONCA meetings. Your plans, your opinion.
Yeah. I actually was able to hear some of the part of the question, but in regards to affordability, one of the issues of the cost of the WONCA meetings, I speak often to young doctors and doctors in different regions, and I hear the fact that from them, I hear directly that attending a meeting can cost them 1 month to 3 months salary. To me, that means that a WONCA meeting is not affordable to them, right? That even a virtual meeting can become really expensive. So one of my goals would be to work together with our secretariat, then the executive, and also the regions, right? The executive is represented by regions to figure out what budgetary measures can support the engagement of family doctors to our meetings, so that we are able to really be there for everybody. We need to be there as an organization for people from low income, middle income, and high income countries, to those who are living in different conditions. It's really important because it works on that development of family medicine that we are all striving and aiming for. We cannot count only on scholarships, to say, I was hearing one of our amazing candidates the other day saying, he was a recipient of a scholarship, therefore he was able to attend. We should be able to make so many more people, especially from low-income countries, be able to attend. So that's, I think, finding a way to generate revenue so that the meetings are less costly will be key, not just, and also for young doctors, right? Like, what is it that we can do to advance family medicine in that sense? And then...
Thank you. Vivi, if I am not interrupting you, if your answer is okay, I think will you add something else?
No, I thought he was also asking about is it affordable? What do we I talk about our equity in research, looking at development goals, and I think there's also when we think about the development of family medicine, we also want to know, and I was speaking a little bit about this before, the economic issues in the question are also very important. Why is it that family doctors are not able to afford a meeting? Also is tied to the disparities and inequities in salary that family physicians may have in each one of our countries. And so how do we work together with health systems, academic centers, government, to make sure that family doctors don't have to have two jobs to be able to have appropriate living conditions. We can't continue to accept that in many parts of the world, including in the high-income countries, family doctors are going around having to have two jobs to support just living conditions, right? So we have to really work on showing those who make the decisions what is the complexity of the work that we do and what are the changes that we need to make so that there is a real support to primary health care. We are seeing a trend on devaluing primary health care, even in countries that have really well and greatly established general practitioner programs. There is always this trend sometimes of devaluing, and so we need to really look at what is happening so that we can become, as family medicine, a stronger in economic ways as well.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very important issue, really, Vivi. I think we have to be really working on it, just to make the conferences accessible for every family doctor. Vivi, if you allow, Thomas may ask, our President-elect Thomas will be happy to ask a question to you.
Yes. Viviana, thank you very much for the discussion we had already, but I would like to know, since WONCA World, especially WONCA World, has set the priority to connect with WHO and other international agencies with high political levels. This is considered to be far away from the practicing GPs in the different regions. So we may not feel very good connected. What do you think, which plans do you have maybe to overcome this and to make WONCA World more relevant to the usual GPs and to get in deeper touch and in better connection with them?
So if you look at my website, in my proposal, I talk about using an equity lens on WONCA planning and decisions, right? So in that equity lens, I talk about the 5 Ps, the people, place, process, power, and purpose. And when you're talking about that, often when we look at feeling of being part of something, people will feel part of something if they realize, if they see that organization is actually making something to make a difference for them. Why should I be part of this? What is in here for me? So first of all, we need to start thinking about what is WONCA. WONCA is an organization of organizations. So the first step is making WONCA relevant to GPs. In order to make WONCA relevant to GPs who are on the front line, the ones that are seeing patients day in and day out and are not coming into decision-making places or platforms. So the first is starting with the member organizations. What do they feel represented at WONCA, and is WONCA relevant to them, right? So we start with member organizations first. I would like to start with a dialogue as president-elect with leaders of each member organization to see how they feel represented, is WONCA really inclusive of their reality in their region, are they as member organizations engaged? And then asking them also, what is the membership of who constitutes their membership? Is the experience of our members of WONCA positive? Is the experience of the member organizations of WONCA positive or negative? A positive experience creates a sense of belonging, and a negative experience creates a sense of disenfranchisement. My voice doesn't have a vote here. It really doesn't represent me. So we need to start looking at that idea. Is there representation? Is there a sense of belonging? And then is an open dialogue with GPs from around the world. I think open dialogue was between leaders. I entered a career in leadership because 25 years ago, I was a GP sitting at a meeting, and Rich Roberts started listening to general practitioners, to family doctors in the audience, and invited them to ask questions and answers. He wanted, as at that point, the president of the American Academy of Family Physicians, he wanted to hear from GPs. That man changed my life in the sense that I felt listened. I felt that my contributions as a rural family doctor at that time were valuable to my president. So as president-elect, if elected to this role, I will start with meeting, having these open forums, and we can easily have open forums right now via Zoom. We can start with that, and then again having those open forums at our own, in-person meetings as well. What is it that it is important to them? And I think if we think about them knowing that as an organization we're fighting for the relevance of general practice and family doctors' work on the ground, that we are working to achieve that their work is valued, recognized, that they have a fair pay for the job well done, that they have access to maintenance of skills and learning new skills, that we all are recognizing and are working for the recognition of family medicine's importance. I think we will hopefully get more of that sense of belonging to our organization. But I will want to start with asking you and others, how would that make sense?
Yeah, thank you, Viviana.
Thank you. We have approximately 8 minutes, so I will immediately turn to Joseph. Joseph, would you please identify one question and then prepare second one if
yes,
we have time.
Yes, we have 12 questions so far, so it's impossible to respond all of them.
Can you hear me?
But now I will ask you, Viviana, the first question,
Joseph,
the most voted
did
question.
you open your microphone?
I'm listening. I'm hearing perfectly, Mehmet.
Okay, can you hear me?
It seems that
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm not on the screen, but if you can hear me, it's okay. So I was saying that I will ask the most voted question. Okay, good. So I'm reading the question, the most voted question. There is a serious problem of migration of trained family doctors towards more developed countries. The more developed countries tend to open their doors instead of training their own family doctors. Do you think, in a way, WONCA can or should intervene in this problem?
I think the best opportunity that WONCA has to intervene in the brain drain that you're describing is to create appropriate working conditions for family, to help, to contribute to creation of appropriate working conditions for family doctors in their own countries. One of the biggest reasons for migration is the pursuit of a better life and better health for their families, right? I don't think any of us could actually stop anybody from migrating, but we could, by working on the development of family medicine in each country, in each region, especially in low-income countries and in developing countries, we could, if elevating primary health care in those regions will actually hopefully create a place where people want to stay and work, as opposed to have to migrate somewhere else to do that job.
Excellent, Viviana. Thank you. We have 4 minutes. Mehmet, may I ask another question, or it's time to close the session?
I'm happy to continue answering.
Okay.
I'm on a roll.
The second most voted question. You have always supported young family doctors, and you mentioned that. How do you plan to continue your support? What is in your program about family doctors, young family doctors?
So young doctors are the present and the future of family medicine, right? Listening to them, giving rise to their ideas, bring us into the future. I think it's hugely important for WONCA to actually really pay attention. I was chair of the membership and member services of committee of the American Academy several years ago. And what I learned that if we wanted to be inclusive of family doctors, we couldn't assume what is it that family doctors, new young doctors want. We want to meet with them, understand what they're interested in, where do they want to take our specialty. Sometimes when we're young or young at heart, we want faster change. We want things to happen yesterday, today, right now. And by embracing young family doctors in the work of our organization, we actually can imagine that possibility of moving a little faster to change that will be really relevant to the world in how we practice, how we address family medicine, and how we recruit new students into family medicine.
Thank you very much, Viviana. And now it's just 3 minutes. The following question, one more, okay. Can a project such an exchange program be made so that family physicians living in different countries can observe the family medicine systems in other countries? This is a question also.
So my program has participated in several of those, and some of my residents in family medicine, as I was program director, and this is, sometimes you have to think about pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, work together, and one of my residents from the North America region attended, was hosted by Vasco da Gama in, I don't remember which country they were having their meeting, and he visited their offices and their practices. I personally at Duke Family Medicine have hosted residents, trainees from Peru, Spain, and Korea. So absolutely, I think we have an opportunity to we all learn when we understand how family medicine is practiced. What is it that we're doing in different regions of the world? Family medicine is this way here, maybe this way there. There is something in common that unites us all, but we are all learning from each other as we see different ways in where we're working. I definitely am supportive of an exchange program. Several regions of WONCA have had it, and if you talk to our young doctor leaders, you will know that they're doing this. I think we also will benefit from a program like that from all doctor leaders to see how others are practicing and how what I often hear in the US being called as innovative is actually the way of life of my colleagues in the developing world. So yes, definitely, I think there is a really huge opportunity of being able to see how each other works.
Thank you very much, Viviana. Now, Mehmet will close the session.
Yeah, Viviana, thank you very much. I think it was a very fruitful meeting. I think our colleagues had a lot of pleasure on that. We wish you to be with us again if we have time, and we wish you luck, success, and also we believe that your way is very open in this thought. We are in this thought, and I hope that you are also enjoyed with that one.
I totally enjoy it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
And I'm happy to continue this conversation.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.